As we're getting ready to start up our last session here before the official first video here at noon, we're going to do a team roundtable. I don't think anybody's got anything to really present. We're just going to let you guys free flow. You got your moderators here. My name's Andy Yantes. I am first senior mentor in Ohio, tournament partner, mentor, coach, whatever you want to say. We have Tyler Thieving.
Yep. How's everyone doing today?
And we also have Juanita. She's also another moderator today. So we're going to let you guys go at it. I don't know how you guys want to manage your time, but we'll keep you on time. Make sure we're ready to go at 11:55 so everybody can kick over to the Twitch stream for first. So I leave it up to innovators, nuts and bolts, bionic tigers, the nuts, antidote, and beak squad. If you guys are on, this is your time, your roundtable.
Did anybody see the Andy Mark leaks?
I did.
Yeah.
How are we feeling about the wibbly wobbly bridge?
I'm more curious about what Power Shot is.
Sounds fun. Rings, especially since they've got a spare ring. I'm curious to see what it'll be. I feel like I don't think they've ever included a spare in their game sets. So I'm thinking, those like power, what do they call those orange thingies for FRC they used last year?
Oh, like
the rocket fuel.
Yeah.
The rocket fuel, those are made of those like Gaga type dodgeball things. I'm thinking it'll be something similar to that, and if it pops, you've got one spare.
I don't know. I think they had extras when we did Rover Ruckus. I thought.
Yeah, we definitely did. I think there was extra like minerals when there's River Ruckus. Honestly, though, I'm pretty sure that this is just a troll by Andy Mark.
That's true. It could be. So could be.
Vasnath asks, can teams share any good ideas on how to work remote and what has worked well? So I know that we start off our remote meetings with a scrum discussion, start like where everyone is and what we've been doing, and then we break out by sub-team and do in-person meetings for build if need be. We're still kind of figuring that out, but what are you guys doing?
And we do something pretty similar.
Perez, could you explain what Scrum is?
Yeah, so Scrum is just basically our project management thing. For purposes of this, it's basically a giant to-do list. And the start of the meeting, the Scrum Master goes over it, checks where everyone is, what they're going to be doing, if there's any roadblocks in their ways, and that keeps us all connected. We all know what each other's doing and how to help each other out. So that's, helpful, especially in remote.
If you Google agile development, you'll find out a lot of information about Scrum. It's actually a software development technique.
Yeah, the Scrum book too is a good read if you're bored. It's actually a surprisingly not boring and interesting read. It ties in a bunch of stories and stuff, and it's actually a good read as well as being very informative.
I guess I can advocate for like some CAD software here. As much as I love SolidWorks 4, especially since we're in a virtual sense this year. It may not work the best, especially since a lot of people will be in their own house designing. And so a CAD software you can use is something called Onshape. Pretty sure you've heard of it. But if you don't know, it's basically like the Google Docs of CAD. Multiple designers in different places can, work together at the same time in the same document. And so it's really a good way for your designers to work together, even they're in different places, and, CAD your actual robot. And also what's great about it is that it runs completely on the cloud, so you don't need a powerful laptop to run it. You just go to onshape.com, sign up, and boom, CAD.
Also, the Onshape tutorials are really good. Even if you don't use Onshape itself, just those tutorials are really good for just learning CAD in general. We had all of our builders go through like pretty much all the tutorials over the summer just to get familiar with the software.
Yeah,
I will say
an experienced cadder, I would highly recommend going through those tutorials. I mean, I benefited from it even though I'd been using Fusion for a full year.
Team
Yep.
2901 Purple Gears, they also have like a full like on-shape parts library, so you don't need to go through any hassle to like download any parts. It's all there and it's all free for teams to access.
Is that in like Onshape specific like parts, or because usually you can
I think
open
it's just a
CAD
library
parts
of
in
step.
any.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
pretty
it's
sure it's
just a
just a
library.
library of
Just
step
search it up and
files.
one of the Purple Gears guys on the Discord. If you can't find out how to do it, you can just ask him.
Aditya.
Yes, hello, that is me.
So one other thing I will add is that if you are doing SolidWorks, if you're experienced with SolidWorks and you don't want to change, GrabCAD is a good tool for collaborating. It's not nearly as good as Onshape's collaborative features, but it's more akin to like GitHub, where you can, you know, edit stuff and then push it and like collaborate, and you'll have version control type stuff. It's good, not as good as Onshape, but it's good.
It's better if you use the desktop app.
120%.
I'll just say I saw like somebody sent out a message about Trello being a useful tool, and that has been like super helpful for at least our business team side of things. Like we've separated things out in like into like a to-do, doing, and done, and then we have a backlog and like a waiting category. So like if something we can't do that right now, we can put it in there. And that's been like great for organizational reasons because everybody can like see it and it's updated in real time. So that's been super useful. It's basically online post-it notes.
Another tool, kind of like Trello, but a little more advanced, is called Notion. I don't know if they're still doing it, but they were giving out free like team licenses for FTC teams if you sign up with like your team email. It's kind of functions at sole purpose is for Scrum. Like it's built around that aspect. So if you wanted to, like, if you're using Trello and wanted to step up your game, I'd recommend looking into Notion.
Notion also doubles as a note-taking thing, so that's really good for just taking notes and adding tasks just kind of all in one spot.
And if you have unlimited money, try out Jira because it's the best, but it costs a crap ton of money.
I agree. I like Jira, but I use Jira at work all the time. But it's very expensive, and I don't think teams can go that way.
I have a question. Do you guys find it more productive using Zoom or Discord for your meetings?
I'd love Discord more than Zoom. I feel like Zoom has more of a formal type thing, so maybe people will be less inclined to mess around, but I think both work out almost exactly the same.
We've had a lot of success using Discord for our team. We're a pretty large team of like 14. And so just having different channels for different information that just stays there is really nice. And you can still get that kind of breakout room feel. You just have one general that you start everybody out in, and then you just branch out into different voice groups. It is a little bit harder to get people to turn their cameras on Discord because the default is no camera, but it still works really well from a just sharing information and just breakout room perspective.
For a while, we were using Google Meet, Zoom, and GroupMe all kind of just mushed together, and it's useful to have it all in one place. Like Discord allows you to have it, so you can do calls, chats, just anything from there. It's very helpful.
Yeah, we're using Discord, and what I like about it is the ability to come in from your phone or your computer or whatever you happen to have available.
You can do that with Zoom as well. Zoom
and
has
it's
an
completely
app.
free.
Yeah.
I haven't used Discord for meetings. Maybe that's something we should look into, but I will say Zoom is good. It's not bad, and we use it, and it works perfectly fine for us.
Another advantage of Discord is that you can use it from a website and you don't have to install an app.
Our team personally, we use Slack, and we tried to use it last year, but this year we're trying to use it more. And the thing we like about Slack is we can connect a bunch of other apps. For example, like Google Drive, Google Meet. We can connect all those apps and basically embed all those links into Slack. So, yeah.
We tried using Slack last year, but we had a lot of issues with people not receiving notifications and stuff like that. Did you run into that issue? And if so, how did you like solve it?
I think like it's I think it has to do with if you have a lot of groups going on, you won't get notifications. But try checking your settings, and it might be on there. Like you might have blocked the notifications from Slack.
Yeah, with my previous team, 14365, the Summit Nights. Yeah. Wait, no, sorry, 365. Sorry. We use Slack, but yeah, we have that problem as well. It's weird like that.
Yeah, there is a Slack bot, so I think there are settings in there when you want to double check that. But there are other features that help Slack to more attractive, to be more attractive.
We also use Slack, and we don't really have any problems with notification settings or anything. But we find Slack is sort of like a more professional Discord because it has the different channels that you can organize your stuff into. I don't know if Slack has like any voice meeting capabilities.
I think it has call function, but we've never used webcam meetings or anything.
Yeah.
Slack has a call function, but it's typically works at best. It's kind of inconsistent at best in terms of like how it works with team. Like individual, it works fine. With calling with teams, you have to connect it to an outside app. So Slack, you can connect it to Zoom, but other than that, Slack itself isn't directly responsible for the team chats. It's for the team calls.
I think Slack also offers video chats between like 1 or 2 people if you pay for their like premium plan.
Obligatory. We love SolidWorks.
We got lots of comments on different CAD models. As I said, everybody looks at it differently depending on what you want to use. It's awesome. It's amazing. Every team has their own thing and what they're doing. It's the online collaboration. It said is awesome. I said my team has always used Inventor. My biggest drawback with Inventor is the fact that it requires a lot of hardware. You're doing it on a laptop. It's kind of sluggish unless you've really beefed it up. So.
Yeah, something I actually want to touch on is that most CAD softwares are almost practically the same. They're just packaged in different boxes. So you'll get to the same destination. It's just that the path you take to get there is a bit different. But yeah, most CAD softwares will be the same. No matter what you use, you're going to be making parts for a robot on CAD software.
Yeah, we agree. I agree with that. So the only thing that I think the other people also mentioned is about ease of collaboration and ease of use in any device. For example, if you use Onshape, you can do it on iPad, you can do it in Chromebook. A lightweight computing machine can serve the purpose. So that's the reason why we chose.
Yeah, I remember when we were designing the capstone, the person who was designing it did it on a Chromebook.
I'm not sure about other softwares like Onshape and SolidWorks. One thing we use Inventor. The one cool thing about it though is you can easily use your CAD and turning up the drawings so that you can make it in a more presentable form. So that's one thing we like about Inventor.
Also, our school uses Inventor on their machines. Obviously, we're not using that now, but if your school like has computers with a certain software, you might want to especially consider that software, just so if you have like a study hall or something, you could work that.
Okay, so good little lull. How about teams? What are your thought processes? What's your thoughts about going remote events this season? And so I'll throw out see how you guys, what you guys feel about that.
I know there's a lot of, I think we all have to understand that Ohio FTC and FTC in general is doing their best. I know people aren't happy about it, but it is, I mean, it is what it is. This is not good times. On the other hand, what I will say is I really wish that there was some mechanism of like video, like looking for videos of matches, because as it stands right now, there is no mechanism. And if anyone from Ohio FTC is listening, if you can, I would love that sort of mechanism, just because people have different interpretations of the rules, and they may, even if they don't overtly cheat, they're biased towards themselves, obviously. And that could cause discrepancies, and that it just creates this kind of unlevel playing field that I kind of worry about. I know some teams have talked about putting their match videos up anyways, and just kind of creating an informal pact among Ohio teams to upload their match videos and kind of keep each other honest. Not that we're not, honest by default, but you know what I mean. So that's kind of my initial thoughts. Discuss.
Very nice.
If we may add, even regardless of keeping ourselves honest, just being able to learn from each other would definitely be a reason to videotape your matches, even just practices themselves. But we did have a really our reaction to not having to record at first, but you should definitely record it anyway, just so we can learn from each other as a community.
So that's a big piece of the community, right? The big piece is you guys go to a competition, and even you go, as I always thought it was hilarious, we go to that first competition of the year, early competitions, and then you guys, and the wonderful thing about FTC, and I've always loved about FTC, is you guys are constantly making changes and advancing your robots as the season goes on. And so being able to see what other people are doing and how people are, take the challenge differently is interesting. That's why I asked the question, to see what you guys were up to.
I like that informal pact of posting your competition videos. That could be a lot of fun, just to see how things are working.
Yep, we agree. I think putting up videos is a great way, especially since, as Chris said, great way for everybody to kind of informal pact and making sure everybody is, because it is pretty true. Most people don't even know the rules when they get to competition, about seeing if thing scores or if it doesn't score. If I hit the foundation, do I lose points because of penalties? Everybody is kind of, even when they get to competition, everybody is super unclear about how scoring is. So maybe the game is a bit more clearly defined regarding the scoring, but I think making those videos and having everybody kind of comment on them and just like suggest stuff like should be able to eliminate hopefully some of those issues that come with just being fully blind and just submitting a number score.
I don't know
And
if
I
this
also
is
think like making
true.
sure that teams know the rules is really important this year. Like just having like lots of easy education out there, especially for like rookie teams that don't have previous experience in FTC. Like that's really important.
I think the Orange Alliance was planning on adding a upload your match video function. I don't know if they confirmed that they're going to do that, but that could be a potential resource for posting videos.
I believe they have. Yeah. I think something else that goes along with online competitions that I kind of want to talk about is online engineering notebook and what that's going to look like.
Did you read through the manual? It said this year, even if we were going remote or not, we were going with a condensed version of your engineering notebook this year.
I haven't seen explicitly that it's condensed, but I
You're
saw
actually,
that they change it to engineering documentation.
yeah. So there was going to be a specific document that you were going to submit instead of submitting the entire engineering notebook this year. And so you're basically going to submit a highlight of all of your achievements to your judges, and that's still going to be the case for your online judging. So that's going to be there for you. So that basically, and that it doesn't mean that you're not going to do the engineering notebook, right? You guys are still going to have all that documentation, because ultimately, the judges might ask to see that stuff in the long run, right? The finite details that you guys always do. I've always loved the fact of going to a competition, or some teams out there that have 3 binders, but being able to submit those 3 binders to a judge is a little daunting, right? So I think they're trying to make it a little bit easier on the judges that way.
They did mention in the coaches call or coaches discussion earlier that if you get to the point like a state is an in-person event, your traditional engineering notebook is still required. So even if you're planning for reduced documentation for online things, you should still be doing a full engineering notebook.
How big are we thinking this engineering documentation is going to be? It's like 15 pages, max 50 pages. What are you guys thinking?
From what I heard, it was like a max of 15.
I really kind of hope it kind of breaks out in, Miss Sarah Heiss says 15 pages max. So I guess that's it. I wonder like how teams are going to allocate like design stuff, programming stuff, and like outreach stuff in that 15 pages. That seems like a bit of a challenge for me. And especially with like the Think Award, normally you document all of your iterations, like your first iteration, your second iteration, your third. So how do you do that effectively in only 15 pages? I think it can be done, but it's a challenge.
So what I heard is they are moving away from a concept of engineering notebook to an engineering portfolio for your team. So we don't know what it is. I think fully they are going to release a YouTube video for that. But it's interesting concept. That word portfolio says something about what they're going to do in short amount of pages rather than 100 pages.
Yes, I agree with the comment that says font size 0.0001. We're going to be making the smallest font size, and we'll be mailing a magnifying glass to everybody. Beautiful. 3D paper. Yep. Printed on one large piece of paper. We got to find those very brilliant ways.
I have heard though that FRC does have something similar to this with like the short documentation. I know some teams post it, like 254 has posted their old stuff on their website. So if you're looking for inspiration, that may be something to look at.
Yeah, I think the overall the engineering world is moving towards that anyways. Detailed documentation is but so it's something between presentation and the detailed notes.
What do you guys think about awards changing their positions a little bit? I hear that control award is a higher qualification spot now. So.
As a programmer, warms my heart.
Same. The only programming award should be a little bit higher up. It was kind of sad when it was all the way at the bottom and it was the only programming one. So I'm personally happy about it.
It makes me mad because this is the first year I'm on business, and it's the year that control award got moved up. So once I leave programming, they're like, yeah, let's make it more important.
Okay, we got like 15 minutes left. What else we want to talk about? It's like, so we hit the hard questions, right? So what are we going to do to make this a fun and exciting year for you guys? What are your thoughts of still keeping engaged, and what are you guys doing in that the community service piece of FTC.
One thing we've had to bring up was the virtual kickoff in reality. We've only had 2 people sign up for it. We need more, and it's tomorrow.
The view will be in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I know there were a couple of those around the state. I know Innovators, you guys had you have a kid out there, and I believe there's a kid up in Cleveland for people to take a look at a full field in the next couple of days. I don't know who's taking advantage of that.
We're doing the one in Cincinnati right now. We need people to RSVP. Just email us at our email because it got cut out of the flyer for some reason.
I think one challenge this year is going to be keeping meetings fun. Because if you're in person, you can joke around with your friends. You can, do silly things, build silly things just as a joke. But it's when you're virtual and you got to stay 6 feet apart and only have 3 people in the room at a time, it's a little bit harder. So how do we kind of keep that fun atmosphere? Because if you're not having fun, it's going to be, harder to build good robots and also, less enjoyable. So how do we do that? I don't exactly know, but ideas?
It's also, I feel like so much more tiring virtually. Like our meetings, we would have 2-hour meetings at a time, and like we would have 2-hour meetings, and then like our team would want to stay longer and like keep working. But now, like, I don't know, I feel a lot of us just get tired out after like 40 minutes. Like it's hard not being around people and just seeing them on a screen and then not and having like your bed right behind you just calling to you. So yeah, I think that's a challenge to really connect with your team, especially like rookies on like more experienced teams, and then also like rookie teams. I think that's a challenge.
Yeah, like on our team, I feel like it's like our meetings are definitely more like compact and productive, like because we just don't, there's not as much of a temptation to like have fun and mess around a little bit, which is sad because I feel really bad for all like the rookies that aren't really gonna get to have like the normal fun of competitions, like the stupid jokes that you make scouting or whatever. A lot of that stuff like that's going to be missing this year. And like I mean, there are kind of ways to replace that, but there's also only so far. I've been trying to think of ideas for weeks and not much has come up, but if anybody else has an idea, that'd be great.
Pets.
I see one thing in here about a team that plays Jackbox, like has a game night every once in a while, plays Jackbox, which you don't have to necessarily play Jackbox, but doing something fun like that may be nice.
Yeah.
I've made suggestions. I've made some suggestions on my monthly mentor call about engagement and keeping you guys happy. I said even if you guys do a virtual movie watch where everybody sits down and watches the same movie while you're on you're doing that, it's always a good way. Just the concept is team building, and we want to keep you guys engaged and keep everybody having a good time, even though you guys can't be all together in the same room.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, sorry, go on.
Oh, for some, not robotics, but like some other activities, we can do stuff like that is outside. So like doing a big like campfire, you can be like spread out during that and still have a really fun time. Like you can do some things that are not quite, I mean, they are in person, but they're not really like back to normal, but like you still can have fun and team build that way too.
Yeah, our team, we're meeting all virtually right now, but we try to engage all of our teammates so we do this thing called Photo of the Day, which we share like pictures of places that we've been. And it's really nice because our team was supposed to go to Detroit and Disney World last year together. So it's a good way to like connect with our teammates and be like, this is like a place that we've gone, and to imagine like going there after all of this is over.
right, we got 15 minutes left before the wonderful first game reveal. Just trying to think what else can we talk about, guys, to get the ball rolling. We've talked CADing, we've talked not a whole lot about programming. Are we doing anything unique on the programming side of things? I know a couple of you guys have moved from programming to marketing. Anything new? As I said, it seems like programming seems to be one of those areas that was probably more adept to online collaboration. But any thoughts on programming this year?
Is anyone using the Control Hub this season?
I am. Yeah. Control Hub is going to be nice. Yeah. Why? Do you have a question on something?
No, I was just wondering what other teams were. We're planning on using them. We ordered them, still haven't opened them or like tested them out, but we're planning on using a Control Hub. So
I think
we're using them as well, and they came in and we started testing them. Apparently, there's some some differences that we need to get ironed out, but we'll do that soon.
I did have one issue with one of my Control Hubs where the 2.4 gigahertz channel was really bad, but my other Control Hub didn't have that issue. If anyone else has that issue, let me know, because I'm still kind of curious about that. I've emailed Rev and haven't exactly heard back, but yeah.
I will say that our team, we use ADB a lot during our practices, just so like updating is a lot faster. We've been using a Control Hub, and it's definitely a lot more consistent in terms of like maintaining that connection, and we don't have to like set it up every 10 minutes, so that's nice.
yeah, ADB will hopefully be. We haven't used it before, but that'll hopefully speed things up and just make it a little bit better from a COVID standpoint. Because if you don't have to have the builders and the programmers both touching the robots and going over there like every 10 minutes, that'll hopefully just make things a little bit safer.
I've also heard the suggestion to use TeamViewer and have a laptop set up, connect to the robot, and programmers in another room connecting to the laptop and controlling it remotely with TeamViewer.
Yeah, I'd recommend ADB a lot. It's a great way of just making sure you don't need to disconnect and replug in the phone every 5 seconds. I recommend using something called the First Dashboard too. The programming dashboard comes along with the Roadrunner. And if you need to make quick, small adjustments to values like maybe your PID or your AutoPath, you can very easily do that on your laptop and it'll just automatically update. You don't even need to install the firmware back onto the phone like you do in ADB. It's just pretty much automatic.
This is kind of like off topic, but like how important is outreach this year? Like from what I've heard, like sometimes outreach, if you had like a lot of outreach, it was like a make or break thing for Inspire. So how important is it this year?
I don't think we really know because like we haven't had a competition, so we don't know what the judges like are looking for. Like who knows if they'll know like, oh well, the COVID, so maybe like I'll have them do less outreach, or maybe they'll be like, oh well, during COVID we want them to do more outreach. Like we don't know really.
I think it's probably safest to assume, like with anything that you're going into, I think it's probably safest to assume that it's going to be useful, so that it's better to do it and not need it than need it and not do it, I would say. But I just think in general, I think a lot of the outreach is going to be a lot more virtual and a lot more focused around like video resources or virtual Zoom workshops or stuff of that nature.
I think something that the judges might look for this year is how creative teams can get with their outreach. Because obviously, like Thomas said, it's going to be very virtual, but I think that if teams can like get creative, and I mean, I don't have anything off the top of my head, but I think like if teams show that like they still want to connect with like and mentor younger teams and connect with professionals and like do all of these things for the community, like I think that's a really good thing to show that even through all of this you're still wanting to make those connections. So I think the outreach is going to be pretty important this year. But yeah, I mean it really just depends.
They won't really be like expecting us to do in person, will they? Like,
Yeah, I
what do you-
think some outreach ideas could be like food distribution or some kind of donating, raising money for like any kind of charity or something.
Yeah, our team did a food drive. We passed out flyers across the neighborhood, and then we came by and collected food, and that worked out well.
Yeah, I agree with what Claire said. I think that may be more malleable this year with how educational outreaches are done and like the number of educational outreaches that are done, especially since with COVID this year. So I think they're going to be more flexible, but they're definitely going to be watching out for teams that are more creative and like decide to take this opportunity to go outside the box with educational outreaches.
Okay, thanks.
Let's turn on.
Yeah, I think they just want those teams to take that extra step. And so I think that that's really important for your team to find that extra step. Because I mean, we have this like it's like a limitation, but it's also not. I think you can do so much virtually that you could do like in person. That, you know, I think that you can somewhat use this to your advantage to like connect even more more virtually and farther away places and like globally, first global and all of that. So
Another thing our team did this year was hosting virtual camps and like posting YouTube videos. And I think it's pretty easy for anybody to make videos because it's so easy to share information that way.
All right, we have a few minutes left in our time here, and I'm gonna get you guys our code word, and hopefully you guys can make some guacamole out of this last code word. Our last code word of the day is avocado. Avocado is our last code word of the day here. So hopefully you guys have collected your code words and you get them off, and good luck to everybody on winning that prize from Go Builda. I thought that was an awesome thing from them. Any final words from our teams and everybody, our moderators? Sarah, anybody have some final words to give the teams as we get ready to experience our kickoff from first at noon?
Good luck, everyone.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck, everybody.
Good luck, guys.
Good luck, and let's make this an awesome season.
Good luck.
Awesome.
Good luck, everyone.
Awesome.
Good luck.
Yeah,
Thank you
so
all.
for the ones who out there, it's on the first Twitch channel. So that's where you're gonna find the kickoff here in 8 minutes.